my goodness. Illinois is in the... Drumroll, please. There should be a sound effect. Illinois is in the national championship. Ranked number 1. And they're going to be taking on number 2, USC. Wow. So looking at the top 25 polls, if USC lost, Illinois would not have played Ohio State. They would have played Kentucky. 2-star Kentucky in the national championship. And instead, they're playing USC. Last week, Illinois beat Ohio State in the Big Ten championship. 27-24. Very good game. Ohio State is phenomenal. The second best scoring offense. The best scoring defense. The best defense. The best pass defense, only allowing 125 passing yards a game. And the 7th best run defense. They were the most dominant team in college football. And they debatably still are. But Illinois is in the national championship. And to be honest, Illinois deserves it. They have 2 losses. But they won the Big Ten championship over probably the best team in the league. So they absolutely deserve it. Their opponent will be the 12-1 USC Trojans, who beat Boise State in the Pac-12 championship. USC's only loss was week 1 to Boise State, 27-9. But ever since then, they whooped Texas Tech, whooped North Carolina, beat Oregon, beat Cal, whooped Utah, beat Colorado, whooped Notre Dame, beat Arizona State, whooped Arizona, beat Stanford, sort of whooped UCLA, and whooped Boise State in the championship. And they had 6 road games. But they had 4 road games in a row against 3 conference opponents and Notre Dame, who was ranked number 1 at the beginning of the season. The media has Illinois at number 1 and USC number 2, and BCS has Illinois at number 1 and USC at number 2. And of course, the coaches does it as well. So Eric Fisher, how high is he in the passing yards? He is 8th. Rushing blocks, Hendrick Foster is 29th. Jackson Kelly is 7th in receiving yards. Delshawn Phillips, most tackles. Marcus Miller, 2nd. Charles Cook, 3rd. Sacks, Trey Watson is in 3rd. Interceptions, Charles Cook tied for 33rd, probably, because the other players have to have 5 interceptions. And kicking, Akeem Manson, he was 2 for 2. And he made every extra point. So, looking at the awards, Illinois definitely has a few. Starting with the Heisman winner, that went to the Ohio State quarterback, Sean Jackson. Very well deserved. 40 touchdowns to 2 interceptions. One of those interceptions came last week to the Fighting Illini, which was Melvin Washington in the red zone as well. He also threw for 3 touchdowns. Runner-ups were Carl Burke, Jacob Thompson, Jonathan Patterson, and Jalen Hurts. No Eric Fisher, which is sort of messed up. All-Americans. So the first team All-Americans, we see Jackson Kelly from Illinois. We see Delshawn Phillips from Illinois, Darsheem the Dream Bang Bang Brooks, and Charles Cook. The second team, Heisman winner Sean Jackson, and he Fighting Illini, Trey Watson, and Brigham Booth. So 5 All-Americans on the defense. The all-freshman team, Kyle Busch, made it after a shaky start. He played very solid, even as a backup. And he's the only one. Last year, Illinois had 2, of course, Eric Fisher, and cornerback, what's his face? I forget. The All-Big Ten team, Sean Jackson, Kendrick Foster from Illinois, Jackson Kelly, Steve Cleveland, Phil Webb, Trey Watson, Marcus Miller, Delshawn Phillips, Darsheem the Dream Bang Bang Brooks, Adam Butler, Charles Cook, and Brigham Booth. So pretty much the whole defense, 9 of the 11 defensive players on the Big Ten first team from Illinois. They had 11 players in total, and on the second team, Eric Fisher over Jonathan Patterson, who was in the top 5 for Heisman voting. Nick Rodriguez also makes it, and so does Will Taylor. Nick Rodriguez, he stepped his game up towards the end of the year. Looking at award winners, Eric Fisher's name better be somewhere. Nope. Walter Camp, nope. Bednar, this is for defense players. And it's Delshon Phillips had a phenomenal senior season. The catalyst of our very talented defense. Bednarik, best linebacker, All-American, and he should definitely be a high draft pick as well. Charles Cook in at number 5. He had a phenomenal year as well in his second year starting. 56 tackles, 5 interceptions, 2 forced fumbles. He played really well, as well as the whole defense. Nagurski goes to Aaron Howell. Trey Watson at number 9. He had a red-hot start, and then he sort of cooled down, but he still played well as the year went along. O'Brien goes to Corey London. Unsurprisingly, no Eric Fisher, because this game absolutely hates Eric Fisher, even though he should be a Heisman candidate. Doak Walker goes to Corey Simmons. No Kendrick Foster. Biletnikoff goes to James Hubbard. We didn't have a receiver good enough. Mackey, unsurprisingly, goes to Jackson Kelly, his second career Mackey. He already has more yards, more receptions, and more touchdowns than he did last year. He played really well towards the end of the season. At the beginning of the year, he was playing well, but not as well as he did last year. And now he's played really well. Outland goes to Javon Whitworth. No, Illinois. Remington goes to Javon. No, Illinois. The offensive line played really well last week. I think Fisher got set twice. Lombardi, best defensive lineman, goes to Aaron Howell. Steve Cleveland, and at number 8. He was good, but I feel like the game's been a little too nice to end with these awards. Delshon Phillips, best linebacker, Trey Watson at number 10. No Marcus Miller, that's kind of disgusting. Marcus Miller deserves to be on the list at least. The 4th goes to Jeff Covington. Charles Cook coming in a close second. No other Illini. A little surprised there's no Delshon Phillips. Best kicker goes to Michael Taylor. That is cool. The Groza Trophy is pretty cool. Obviously no Illinois with Akeem Manson. And the Ray Guy Award goes to Ben Mitchell, a player that Illinois actually wanted, was targeting with recruiting, but didn't get him because they needed to make sure that they would get Eric Fisher and Melvin Washington. Obviously, Illinois got both of them, and both of them have been main contributors. Jonathan Handy didn't really punt it enough because this team went forward a lot. Best returner goes to Brendan Goolsby. No, Illinois. A little surprised Will Taylor didn't make it, but he was not as good as Malik Turner was in the returning aspect. So looking at players of the week, DeAndre Francois, Robert Calhoun, Bray, Jalen Hurts, Doug George, Williams, Callahan, Jonathan George. Was he already on? Or was that someone else named George? I'm not sure. Doug George, okay. And Gurin, Nugent, Sullivan, and Irvin, Deontay Foreman, and Ken Blanco, Devin Brown, and Jacob Thompson, Sean Waller, the baller, and Clayton Brown. Kind of wish I was doing Kent State for the series, so I can say Sean Waller, the baller. Eric Terrell and Calvin Jean, John Walsh, Terrell Harris, Sean Jackson, and Kyle Reynolds, Tony Williams, and Chris Shelton, AJ Whitfield, and Mr. 13 total touchdowns himself, Eric Fisher, Hunter Harris, Jeff Brown, and Ray Ware, and Tyson Wright. And for the Big Ten, the conference championship players of the week were Charles Cook and Eric Fisher. Both of those are well-deserved. So looking at the bowl games, just going to scroll by them, anything that catches our eye. Oregon in the Las Vegas Bowl, just like in real life, versus New Mexico. UConn, they're ranked. Bowling Green's a pretty good team too. Florida State, Temple Cal, Boise State, Clemson, Alabama, Iowa in the Outback Bowl. Capital One Bowl is Nebraska and Ole Miss. Rose Bowl is Ohio State, Virginia Tech. So if Illinois lost, I would not be surprised if they were playing in this Rose Bowl. Take it on Virginia Tech. I don't know why Virginia Tech nor Georgia Tech made the ACC championship when they were both ranked the highest in the ACC. I'm guessing they're in the same conference. I know it's based on conference wins and losses. We'll check that out. Vista Bowl is Northwestern, TCU. All-State Sugar Bowl is Kentucky, Texas. Orange Bowl is Miami, LSU. I guess Miami won. And of course the BCS. Well, not really BCS, because that's not a thing anymore. But the National Championship, number 2 USC, and number 1 your Illinois Fighting Illini. So I think that's honestly. Actually, let's look at USC. Let's look at their team. Looking at their squad, their quarterback is, of course, Sam Darnold, now a junior. He's had a solid college career, but nothing too insane. 3,000 yards, 29 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. So Eric Fisher played better. Running the ball, Antoine Morales, 15 touchdowns. He might be a struggle for his defense. They look like they have a very good running offense. Rob Collins, their best receiver. Poland, almost 500 yards. Blocking, not great, honestly, at all. For offensive line, doesn't look that good. Defensively, not a lot of sacks. Tackles for a loss. Howard Washington might be their best defensive player. 3.5 sacks, a lot of tackles for a loss. He almost led them in total tackles. Interceptions, 4 for Brian Trinigan, so maybe he's their best defensive player. 3 for Dominique Bradley, a freshman. 2 for Noah Brown, 2 for Jason Bryan, 1 for Harry Bergstand, 1 for Travis Vincent, and 1 for John Sanders. Kicking doesn't really matter. Their kicker's better than Akeem Manson. Their punter looks pretty good as well. Looks like Nick Bailey is their kick and punt returner. So, Illinois has a few potential records that could be broken. Most notably, Eric Fisher. He is 3 touchdowns away from tying the passing touchdowns in a career by an Illinois quarterback. Yards in a career, he's not breaking. Yards in a season, he needs a little over 300 to do so. So he can have 4 records. And I definitely see him breaking the passing yards in a career next year. Passing yards in game, probably not, but it could happen. Receiving, Jackson Kelly currently has 3. Receiving yards in a career, Jackson Kelly can break that. Yards in a game, that must have been A.J. Jenkins, because I think he went to Illinois and he was a first-round pick. I don't see anyone breaking that in the near future. Could happen one day. Receiving yards, Jackson Kelly might have a shot at that record this year. I'll have to see how many yards he has. Receptions in a career, no. Receptions in a game, could happen one day. Receptions in a season, could happen. Reception, could happen one day. Interceptions in a career, no. Interceptions in a game, probably not. Interceptions in a season, no. Sacks in a career, probably no one on the current team. Maybe Doug White, who is a 5-star recruit that's coming here. Sacks in a game, very well. And sacks in a season could also very well happen one day. Rushing, Kendrick Foster currently has 2 records. Or no, 1. Never mind. That's going to be very hard to break. That could happen one day. I don't think it'll happen this year. I don't think Kendrick Foster is enough to break that record. That could happen. Both those are unlikely. I think those were by Mikel Leishore. And this one too. Mikel Leishore is so bad. But I'm going to have to see how many yards Jackson Kelly has. All these players are better than Mikel Leishore. We all know it. I think Jackson Kelly probably needs a little over 100. Yeah, he needs about 150. That's possible. I would say it's kind of unlikely, but it could happen. And Eric Fisher, he could also break some records as well. So Eric Fisher and Jackson Kelly, 2 of probably the best players in school history. I think Eric Fisher is definitely on pace to be the best player in Illinois history, no doubt. And then Jackson Kelly as well. Probably not best in history, but certainly up there. Probably both of them are going to be high draft picks in the NFL. Next episode will be by far the biggest game of the series and one of the biggest games in channel history. Illinois, USC, Eric Fisher, Sam Darnold. Next episode, you will find out who wins. Also, win or lose, this series will still go on. So even if Illinois wins, there's still going to be an off-season. Don't worry, this series is not ending no matter what happens in this national championship. So that's it for me. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys are all pumped for the national championship game between Illinois and USC. Really, Kirk? You're going to pick USC? Really? Well, let's prove you wrong.